we edit this interview anyway, so like don't worry if you mess up or like want to do a retake or anything like that. We'll make you look really good. So
Thank you.
But yeah, so if you want to go ahead and say that little intro, and just whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Zan. I am so excited that y'all get to watch my film, All the Little Impossibles, and I hope you love it.
Awesome.
Is that good?
Yeah, that was perfect. I love it. Great. So yeah, to kind of get started, I'm just curious behind like the inspiration, the background of this film. What made you want to make this film?
I have I've had a very serious anxiety oh, I should restate the question, shouldn't I?
Oh no, it's totally fine. This will all go. You don't need to rephrase it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've had a very serious anxiety disorder ever since I was 7 or 8 years old. That's like not quite schizophrenia and a little bit more than like the anxiety that is generally treated and thought of in psychology. And I have a very, very visually oriented brain, which is the part of what makes me interested in film. And I've struggled with having these sort of mental spirals that are very visual, and these little horror movies that play out in my brain that take me out of the moment I'm in and into a worst case scenario that I can't really get out of. And when I was a kid, I was treated for having nightmares. Like I was too scared to explain to anyone that it happened when I was awake. So I was like, and I didn't, like, I thought I was completely crazy. And then when I got to high school, I started like being late to things and losing chunks of time. And I was so terrified to talk to anyone about it. And then around my sophomore year, I got a therapist that was really helpful for me. And I was finally able to start sharing. And I knew I wanted to make a film about that experience and to do a really big project before I graduated high school. So I just started writing, and it was so scary. And a part of me, this is silly. I was thinking at the time, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make this film and then I'll never have to explain to anyone what this feels like in my brain ever again. And now it's just all the time. Everybody's like, so what's your film about? Shit. I like didn't think it through.
Just watch it. Watch it.
Yeah. So it is like 100% based in my experiences and totally an accurate representation of the way that my brain works. And I just, I'm from Hood River, and we have like, the mountains beautiful and so many beautiful lakes and forests, and I wanted to utilize all of those resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you did a beautiful job at that.
Oh, thank you. I forgot that you've seen it.
Yeah, I know. The imagery is so stunning. It's gorgeous. And also just everyone at Klamath Film, we just want to commend you for being so brave to talk about such a personal, deeply personal thing and show that in a visual representation. And I mean, I feel like even talking to your friends about it or people who you would recruit for the film, that would be so hard in the first place. And then to actually put the film out there too for others who you don't know. I mean, what was that experience like? I mean, it must have been really scary.
It was really, writing was really scary. It says written like by me and a co-writer, and really like the words are all mine. She gets upset with me for putting her name on things, but like she was kind of like my emotional support co-writer. Yeah. Where like we did a lot of early like Zoom sessions while I was writing where I just needed someone to help me like get the words out. Mm-hmm. And then I just sent the script, and I had to work with Fiona who plays Zoe. We worked together a lot. And I remember the first time that I like saw it, like we were filming the second half of the running scene where she's like in the woods and it's scary, and we were really exhausted and tired. We filmed everything in 3 days. So it was very, very intense. And I like had like a proper spiral in the moment while we were like filming, while we were taking a break, and she like saw it happen and then saw me come out of it, and we were on this like really steep, it was wow. Crazy. Wow. And then she was like, was that the thing? And I was like, yeah, that was the thing. And she was she was like, what was it about, if I can ask? And I was like, you tripped and you fell down the hill and cracked your head open, and we had to call your mom and tell her. And she immediately started like crying. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, I'm ready and I can do this and I can, and like seeing her like understand, like really, really understand what it's like to have that happen, you know, like 20 times a day, and like lose my awareness of reality for a second. I don't know. So that was really cool. And after that point, which that was the first day, the end of the first day, then it was like super solid. And I was so scared to put it out to people. But just, I mean, I have this, like, all through the college application process to film school, I kept telling myself, you know, like, I'm going to get into a really good film school, and then I'm going to help people. And then, like, my film's been shown so many places now. Like, I have no idea it was going, like, Film Freeway was going to go this well. But there have been already like 3 or 4 instances of people who have, like, one woman at a festival came up to me just like sobbing, like after, you know, like in the movie theater, like popcorn buying area. And she asked if she could hug me, and she was like, I have never seen, like I totally thought that I was alone in this, and I've never seen anything like, and it's been, you know, yeah, 3 or 4 people like that now I've had really cool interactions with them like that. And so it feels really good to, I don't know, like I didn't expect it to go this well, and there's a part of me that's like, oh my god, like I'm in film school and I'm doing it. Yeah. But I also, like, I didn't need to go here to help people, and it's already happening, and now it's just about scale.
Well, honestly, though, that's such great advice for anyone who's thinking about making a film, whether they're, you know, 16, 18, or like 80, and they're like, well, I didn't go to school for that and stuff. And it's like, well, you don't need to. Like, you can really just kind of say what your heart wants to say and put your story out into the world, which I think is why we all love film and why we all love to do what we do. So that's amazing. And especially as a high schooler, to have that motivation and that drive. And like, was this just a project outside of school? Were you in a film class? Like, how did it come about?
My high school doesn't really, I mean, they have like a multimedia,
right,
like track where, like, you know, this like this how Photoshop works, and like I did that. I interned at a production company called Story Gorge in Hood River. They're amazing. I work for them now as an editor, editing, you know, local documentaries and things like that. So I learned like Premiere and a lot of and camera stuff mostly from them. But yeah, this was not an assignment. I did not get any kind of grade or credit on it. I did have independent study time in my art classes. Like, my art teachers considered it. So all my senior year, I was editing in school and outside of school. Yeah. And then we had the first premiere we had in my school auditorium. There were about 300 people. Mm-hmm. So the school was very supportive, but yeah, it was all just me being a silly goose.
That's amazing, though. And what another experience to share with classmates too. Like, that's a whole other scale also. I feel like that probably would have made me the most nervous in high school, to be like, oh, all these people. So amazing, Zan. Well, so how has it been being like on the festival circuit? I mean, like, you must be getting these, I've seen the laurels on the posters.
There are, I don't know which, yeah, there are more. It's a lot. It's and then the day I graduated, oh my god, this spring was so completely insane. It was like college applications are crazy, and getting through AP classes and grades and everything is crazy. And then like I submitted to most of the film festivals. I did like, it's about 1 in 4 that I'm getting into right now, and I still have a few to hear back from. Like that's 40 that
amazing, by the way. So yeah, congratulations on that. That is really impressive.
Yeah, I'm really, it's kind of wild. But but you know, it takes a while to start hearing back. So like March, I started hearing back from film festivals, and that was crazy. And then you get all your college application decisions. And then like two, like one of my parents and then a very close friend of mine both passed away in the same week. And then I had to decide where I was going to college. And then there were all these film festivals that I said I was going to go to that I went to that were amazing. And then I gave the graduation like commencement speech to like 2,000 people. And on that same day, I got an email from the Northwest chapter of the Emmys that I won Best Writer. And it's it was just like, yeah, March until June was like complete insanity. I brought it with me. Hold on. This is the statue is too heavy, but this is
wow, Zan, holy cow.
It's just like complete insanity that I don't even.
Amazing. You are an icon. You're a hero, and you are the moment. Okay, are you kidding me? You're like giving Greta Gerwig vibes. Like I just totally see you being the next Greta. Like that's.
Oh my god, insane. You are so sweet,
Queen. Pop off. I am flabbergasted by how you got all that done. And so, are you? How are you feeling? Like now you're starting college, and how is college going?
College is great. This is day 4. This is day 4. So my room is no longer a mess. I'm gonna find out what classes we like submitted our class stuff yesterday, and I'm gonna find out what my schedule is today. And I'm really hoping that it's just like good when they give it to me, and I don't have to go change a bunch of stuff.
Really?
But yeah, I was expecting it to be like so scary and to be so anxious. And I don't know if it's has to do with the film, but my anxiety has gotten so much better. Even in this year, like I used to have panic attacks on top of, you know, everything else.
Yeah.
4 or 5 times a week. And I haven't had a panic attack in almost a year.
Wow, Zan.
Like I don't really know what I did. And I was expecting moving across the country and leaving my single father and my dog to be like, you know, crazy, but I'm really happy here.
I'm so glad to hear that. And that was going to be one of my questions, is if you had any like coping mechanisms or anything for people who might struggle with that as well. But maybe it's just move across the country. I don't know.
Well, getting a therapist who's my mom died a long time ago, so the parent was kind of like an extra parent that passed away this year. But getting a therapist whose mom also passed away when they were very young was really helpful. If you share trauma, that was like, because I'd had therapists before for my nightmares when I was a kid and different things like that. But that was really helpful. And I'm hoping to find a therapist I connect with at my school. And also just, I mean, it's not that the panic attacks, like, it's not that I don't get anxious, and it's not that I don't have like 10% or 20% of a panic attack. I just have the tools that I need now to like bring myself back down.
Yeah.
The scary thing, the thing that people like, the perpetual worry is like, I don't really know what happened that made it better.
Right.
So now I'm just scared it's gonna come back.
Totally. It's terrifying.
Yeah, worries aren't gone.
Right.
But I can breathe.
Sure.
And I think having this thing that I thought made me like a complete crazy person be so well received by so many people.
Sure.
is really amazing.
It's kind of special when you can turn something that you feel like makes you less than into almost a superpower, where you're like, oh, actually, by sharing this, it makes me more in control and more being able to reach other people and be able to have them feel not alone, which is huge and so important. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And was there anything else you wanted to add about All the Little Impossibles? And also, where are you going to school?
Kenyon College.
Okay.
In Ohio. It's where John Green went. If you
I literally just looked that up yesterday, Zan. I'm not kidding you. I just looked up. I was like, Kenyon? Isn't that where John Green went?
You're the nicest human. Wait, what? why aren't we like best friends?
Can we be best friends? I've been thinking this the whole time.
Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling. He is one of my, like, Turtles All the Way Down, like, was like the first, is a big inspiration. Yeah, I was kind of hoping to, yeah, All of Impossibles, I hope to be like a cross between Turtles All the Way Down, like high school, you know, anxious kids dealing with their stuff, and really representing what it can feel like when you're like in the thick of the mental health difficulties, along with Mike Flanagan is my favorite writer director. So like Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass, and his style of like respectful horror that's designed to help people process and heal. So I hope that I attempt,
Oh my gosh. The mashup we all needed. That is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of John.
Yeah.
And I watch all of his, like a very big fan. And it is weird to be walking around and to be like, oh, like 25 years ago, he was walking. Some of the teachers here are like so old. And I'm like, were you here when? And they're like, of course I was.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I know. I love his TikToks. I love the Anthropocene Reviewed was my favorite book I read this year. I just a huge fan of his. So that's amazing. And congratulations. You're walking on holy ground. And I'm sure people 25 years from now will be like, this is where Zan Lapp.
Oh my gosh, you are so kind.
No, straight up.
It's so weird that that like, and even okay, like I was looking up some of the like the Emmy stuff is really, really cool, but they didn't like show it in front of a bunch of people. It's just like an award. And then somebody asked me like how many people have seen it like now. And I didn't really know what to say. And I had to Google, and Calamance is fairly large. But I had to Google some of like, I got into Dead Center and I got into Sidewalk, which are pretty, they're pretty reasonably sized. Totally. But I hadn't like Googled the average attendance. And I know obviously like not everybody's going to be there for my block, but I looked them up, and Dead Center's like 25,000 and Sidewalks like 18,000 or some nonsense like that. And I was just about to leave for school, and I felt like I was going to throw everywhere. I was like, this is not like how. Anyways, yeah. So I am shocked beyond belief. I'm so thankful to my cast members who let me put them through a crazy 3 days.
3 days
for my dream. Yeah. When I had absolutely no money. They've all been paid now.
Nice.
And my one crew member who was so wonderful, and for my dad for driving us around, and my good friend Oliver who worked his butt off composing the original score. They're amazing. They've made my dreams come true, and they believed in me, and none of this would be possible without their amazingness. Thank you so much.
That is such a beautiful sentiment, and we love a grateful queen, so that's awesome. And just so thank you, Zan, and thanks for being part of Klamath Independent Film Festival, and we hope you all enjoyed Zan's film. And I'll go ahead and stop recording.